It's Dot Bets. Checking back in. We're going to go over my top plays and my top stacks of week one for the main slate on Draftkings. We're going to focus on the high risk lineup strategy approach for the high risk GPPs. We'll get into my top 5 plays at each position, also my top stacks for the week. So if you like this video, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below on who you think goes off this week and scores the most DraftKings points. Before we get going, make sure you subscribe to my channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/dotbets, 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning on the dot. NFL strategies, NFL best bets, NFL prop bets, all coming at you. Any DFS questions you guys need to ask, go to that channel and ask them then. So without further ado, let's get into this slate. But before we get going, go check out Occupy Fantasy. The guys over there absolutely kill it with their content every single week. They have their own model, they have their own plug, own lineup builder. They can get you to the next level if you are trying to become a better DFS player. So go check out Occupy Fantasy. Use my link in the description. Sign up through them, and you'll get automatically, I think, enrolled into their Discord channel as well. So also, BetUS, America Sportsbook, 125% sign-up bonus. Football season's here. Who couldn't use another sign-up bonus? Who couldn't use another book? Use my link in the description. Use code DOTBETS for 125% sign-up bonus. We finally made it. We have NFL football on the horizon on Sunday. I'm recording this on Friday night, so if any news breaks, bear with me. That's why we have the live stream on Sunday to wrap up the entire week before we get going. So make sure you check me out on there. Also, we'll just briefly go over some strategy when it comes to high-risk lineup building. So I have illustrated on right behind me with the 3-1 game stack theory. So this is for high risk GPP lineups. If you're doing low risk, you don't need to do many game stacks. But so this is basically what we call the 3-by-1 stack. So you got 3 players. So this is just illustrated for the Chiefs Browns game. So you got Mahomes. So you always stack a quarterback, and then with 2 of his pass catchers. So you can either go a running back, a receiver, or a tight end, or you go here with, so you can go Tyreek and Kelsey, or you can go, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Tyreek and leave Kelsey out, and then you bring it back with the opposing pass catcher. So it doesn't have to be the top guy. It could be. That's where we get a little bit differentiated with the crowd. Is maybe a lot of people will do this game stack, but you don't have the people have OBJ and you have Jarvis Landry, or you have one of the other pass catchers for the Browns, maybe Peoples Ronda or Jones or something like that. Just a crazy person that comes back on the backside. So you differentiate yourself from the 1.1 million that you're going to have to compete against. So that is a main strategy of mine when constructing lineups. So I'll start with my top 5 stacks of the week. So those are going to play into my particular player pool. So the top stacks are going to be Green Bay and New Orleans. That game should be, I think that's set at like 52 right now. And that game, I expect a lot of points to be scored. I know it's not in the dome, but it's in Jacksonville. Still think the 2 teams can put up pretty good amount of points. Then the second stack will be Arizona, Tennessee. Should be the highest scoring game of the week. We'll also have a play on that game on Sunday morning. Then the third one will be, this is kind of not many people are on this game, I don't believe so. It's Seattle and Indianapolis. So the Seahawks versus the Colts. Think that game could be a sneaky shootout. Russell Wilson and the company have created this up-tempo offense that I think they're going to try to show out on. I'm just hoping that the Colts don't say, hey, let's run the ball a million times. So I'm taking a risk, probably going to roster a little bit more Indianapolis people than I should. But if it could end up paying off, as a potential high risk lineup approach that shoots up the leaderboard. And then the fourth stack is going to be that Browns Chiefs one. I think it's simply too good to leave out. And if you do leave out, I think you're going to be down sometimes in the lead, on the leaderboard, just because I think it's the highest one on the board. I think it's 54 or 55 right now as we're shooting this video. So don't want to ever not have a piece of that pie. So just make sure you differentiate yourself in that game. There's a lot of ways you can go about that. Then the fifth one will be Philly and Atlanta. So that game I think could be sneaky as well. Depends on Hurts if he's going to throw the ball. I really, really like Hurts this week. He'll be one of my top plays. I just think that game, especially with the Falcons defense, and then with the Falcons coming back, you got Pitts, you got Ridley, and you got Mike Davis. So you're going to have a little bit of differentiable people to mix up your lineup with. So. All right, now we can dive into the top plays at each position. Kind of going along with those top stacks, you're going to kind of wrap those kind of guys in your player pool, if that makes sense. So you're going to go with a lot of the quarterbacks that you have in those top stacks, a lot of those skill players in there, and wrap it together. But I'm going to go just briefly over my top five at each position. So my number one quarterback this week is going to be Kyler Murray. I absolutely think he goes off. I think he was my number one rated quarterback above Mahomes in my fantasy rankings. I just think he's got the dual threat capability to be that guy the entire season long. As you guys can see through the first parts of the season, I think the week 10 he got hurt, but before that he was the number one quarterback in all fantasy. Guys rushes, 13 rushes, 8 rushes, 5 rushes, for 91 yards, 67 yards, and he scores touchdowns. He scored, I think, 10 touchdowns last year, rushing touchdowns. So he is absolutely a dual threat quarterback, and what the league is going towards for sure. So number one play, quarterback position, Kyler Murray. Then we're going to go to Jalen Hurts, another dual threat quarterback. Where is he? He's right there at 6,400. A little bit more salary relief here against the Falcons defense. Think he can get some good quality points against them. Then we'll go to the New Orleans game. Another salary relief guy is Jameis Winston. I think he's going to be very, very highly owned because he has that 5,200 price range, and it allows you to do a lot more other capabilities with your lineups with higher priced guys, higher priced skill players, especially running backs and top wide receivers. So that's another avenue that you can be a little bit different, maybe paying up for one of these stud quarterbacks up top. Then we're going to go to Mahomes. He's ranked number 4 this week. Just because of his price, it's always going to be high. So just with a bunch of other value plays, he just fell down on my list. And then my 5th one is going to be the complete salary relief of the slate, which is Mac Jones. So this is totally maybe a punt play where you're hoping that he just gets kind of the minimum points that you can get. Preseason he lit it up. I would say he showed his true colors, and I think he's going to be a very, very serviceable quarterback. 4,400 I think is just too cheap to pass up. You got to be able to get solid production out of him. Then it's just all about salary relief with this play. So I think you can get big running backs, wide receivers even more so than you can with Winston. So maybe that's the way you pivot. Instead of Winston, you go back all the way down to Mac Jones. So running backs. So strategies with running backs are kind of how I always treated with starting pitchers. In Draftkings, you basically play the high priced ones. You play the ones that you're going to get a bunch of volume from, and it's easy to predict. So, Kamara this week is going to be hands down the most popular player on the slate. He has a phenomenal matchup, and he has no receivers. He's going to be the slot guy for this team. Am I going to want a piece of him? Of course. Do you want to lock button him? Probably not so much, but he's going to have to be in your lineup. Maybe in your game stacks with Winston, maybe coming back with Rodgers. Kamara will be the one, and then you have a little bit different approach with the three for the Packers to maybe mix it up a little bit. But so Kamara will be the one that I have a bunch of exposure to. Then I'm going to go with Dalvin Cook. He's at 9,100. I think truly he has the best matchup on the slate. Kamara probably site-wise, website-wise, you go to all these places, they're gonna tell you Kamara. I love Dalvin Cook this week against the very, very weak defense in Cincy. They didn't get any better in the offseason, and they gave up a buttload of running back fantasy points last year. I don't know if he played him last year at all. So he never played him at all. But I do believe Dalvin goes off this week. I have a prop play that I will give out on Sunday's Twitch stream. So make sure you tune in there. Then we're going to go third one. Guy that was talked up a bunch in the preseason, and he didn't have the greatest of preseasons, but I do believe he is highly mispriced right here, and it's Antonio Gibson. So he's 5,900. So he's kind of like a value play here. And if it loads, he's going to be in the passing game. Whatever people say about McKissick or whatnot, he has fantasy value for receiving. He's gotten max 3, 4, 5, 4, and this is before he got hurt. So he's got the potential to receive the football out of the backfield. So I have also another prop play on Antonio Gibson. We'll be giving that out on Sunday's stream as well. So make sure you tune in there. But too big of a price, too big of a misprice here for me. So got to put Gibson in. Then we're going to go Mostert. Same thing. The heaviest favorite on the board against the Lions. I think it's an 8.5 point favorite right now. Too much value to pass up at 5,800. So that's a value play there. And then my other play is James Robinson. So he's priced at 6,400. You would think with Etienne's injury, he might have been priced a little bit lower because Etienne had so much hype. But Robinson this week, he's going to absorb a lot more receiving yards. So if you guys can see last year, he had a buttload of games where he was catching 5, 6, 4, 5, 6 passes a game. So he's definitely involved in the pass game, and that's kind of who I like to target a lot more in DraftKings with the PPR format and pricing. So James Robinson is my 5th rated running back there, and then we'll go into receivers. So receivers, there's just so many of them that it's tough to narrow down my top 5 because you just want to say Adams, Hill, Ridley, Hopkins, Jefferson. Boom, you're out. Because they're all elite, all have pretty good matchups, but it's tough. So what I like to do is just differentiate in my game stacks. So all the top 5 stacks, get those skill players and just wrap around with different approaches there. But I'll give away my top 5 right now. So Adams clearly is the number 1 wide receiver in all football. Got to play him. Tyreek is going to be number 2. Just has the most. I think he's got the most upside every single week. He can just blow by people 2 or 3 touchdowns a week, no problem if he connects. So then I'm going to go down here to Diggs. I think he's in a tough matchup with Pittsburgh, but I just think that connection between Allen and Diggs is too dang strong, and he just gets peppered with targets. If we dive into how many receptions and how many targets he got a game, I mean, it was double digits. The lowest he got looks like it was 6. He's going to average around 8 to 11 every single game. You know what you're going to get out of Stephon Diggs. Easy way to plug him into your lineup and then differentiate with maybe a secondary guy if you're going to go with the Bills-Steelers stack, if you're going to do something like that. Then we're going to go probably the most popular player of the week in Marquez Callaway. I think he's 3,400. Yep, here he is. So he's going to be highly owned. But you put him in your lineup, differentiate with that game stack, and you're going to have the ability. He's the number one guy there. It's going to be him and Kamara and Winston. Those are the three guys. I do have one kind of sleeper play, which I'll tell you. I think he's priced as a tight end. I'll check in just a second. But Callaway, you're not going to want to miss out on this value. You're not going to get him at 3,400 ever again. So kind of just, it's not a lock button, but you got to put him in and then differentiate amongst them. And then the last one is going to be either I'll give you two. I know they're two Jets, so it's kind of tricky, but I think Corey Davis is going to be very, very good this season. Like him a lot. He's at 4,900. I think that's a steal. He's going to be the number one target to Zach Wilson, going to get peppered with targets, and he's priced at a discount just because he's on the Jets, new system, everything like that. Or you can go Elijah Moore, who is I think he's like 3,000. Elijah Moore. Let me type him in. Yeah, he's 3,000. Bare minimum wide receiver, and he's the second wide receiver there with Jamison Crowder being out. So it's going to be the Davis Moore show. That I'm not saying lock button him either, but he's got to be in a majority of your lineups to save some salary. Then you have three big time running backs. So tight end position, obviously number one is Kelsey. You can't ever not be on him. I think you got to have some exposure to him weekly. He's just that talented. Absolutely kills it on a weekly basis. Lowest was 6 points, and that was a fluke game. I think they were getting blown out, or they were blowing that team out. So Kelsey's number one. Then we're going to go Pitts. So Kyle Pitts, I think, will be the highest tight end owned on the slate, 1,000%. He's going to be used as a wide receiver, and if you do not know that by now, you must not be researching. He is going to be peppered with targets as well, right behind Ridley. Price as a tight end. You could potentially put Pitts as your flex position. I think this is the cheapest we're going to ever see Kyle Pitts. So I think you got to plug him in. Third is going to be my guy, Logan Thomas. Absolutely love this guy. With Curtis Samuel not being able to suit up and on the IR, it's going to be Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas. And then it's like Adam Humphries and a rookie. So Fitzpatrick's going to pepper Thomas, going to pepper McLaurin. McLaurin just missed the cut just because the Chargers have some good safeties and cornerbacks. But I love Logan Thomas. Tough to guard him for the Chargers. Then we'll go Goddard. I hope I'm saying that name right. I think he just a matchup with the Falcons. Always plug and play tight end against them. And then a little surprise if you guys listen to the first look video, Gerald Everett. Love that guy this week in that Seattle Indy stack. I think you can differentiate yourself big time with Gerald Everett, and Russell has just talked him up consistently throughout the preseason. So absolutely love him this week. And then defenses, I truly look at the bottom tier here and play somebody. So like, I think the Bills are fine this week. I also wouldn't mind possibly the Browns. Probably not too much, but maybe some Eagles. I just think you don't want to spend up for the 49ers. You want to spend $4,200 on a defense. You can find a guy that, a defense that's going to have 6 to 7 to 10 points down here. Trust me. Just because the Bengals are $2,000 doesn't mean that they could get a fumble recovery or whatnot. So just maybe see a home team down here that you could see maybe getting a couple turnovers, a couple sacks here and there, and not just getting absolutely blown out. That's how I kind of see the defensive end for it on DraftKings. So, like I said, drop a comment below. Make sure and let me know who you have winning, or who's going to score the most points of DraftKings this week. Love to hear it. Also, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, Twitch channel, 10:30 in the morning on Sunday on the dot. We're going to get all the bets out, all the props out, and just listen to all your questions and let me know what questions you guys have and ask them there or leave them in the comments. So I'll get up on out of here. The video was a little bit longer than I wanted, but had to be going a little bit more in depth with a bunch of values on the week 1 slate. So I'll get a ball out of here. See you guys.